Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you turn 6 of Next War Iran. So you can see by the display here, I hate that I have this dumb shadow here, but whatever. The light's the light. It's very overcast outside, so that's about the best I can do. So we've already been through the air naval phase, and you can see by the air superiority box that the Allies have pretty much taken over the skies. So if we look here, all of these guys they squared up and they ended up getting aborted back. It was amazing the rolls. Like I mean, there's a couple planes. I think that one got some damage and that one got damaged, but most of them, actually these two over here as well, sent a lot of guys home. I didn't destroy any aircraft. They were all damaged and or aborted. And it was all the Chinese. I mean, if you look at right, like the Iranians don't have a lot in the air power side of the house, so you know it's they're relying heavily on the Chinese, and the Chinese didn't deliver. You can definitely see that the Allies have air supremacy plus plus plus, if that existed, right? Air supremacy is as high as you can get, and the Allies 100% have that. On a small admin note, one thing that I did not know, because sometimes I'll read the rules too quick. Carrier air wings have 4 aircraft on them. They have a Wild Weasel. They have, what is this? This is an F-18E, and I believe these are F-18Fs. Yes, so each carrier air wing is comprised of 4 aircraft. I only had, and each one of them I had 3. So I was kind of shortchanging myself. But I re-looked at that real fast and found out that these carriers were supposed to have more planes on them. So I added the extra chit, right? We have the Teddy Roosevelt, the Abraham Lincoln, and the Harry S. Truman, I believe, is scheduled to arrive at the end of turn 6. So let's go over here. And we can see here that we have a problem. By we, I mean the Iranians. This entire group of ships managed to get into the Gulf of Oman. It is now contested. Of course, the inshore box still belongs to the Axis powers, and this surface action group here is going to be in a heap of trouble here very shortly. So we've got that going on, and then so that is the air naval phase, basically air superiority, and I mean, this wasn't part of the naval phase, moving those ships. That happened at the end of last turn, but just wanted to point that out, that it's going to start looking very grim, right? At the end of turn 6, well, this is turn 6, so it'll be 3 weeks, right? So each turn is 3.5 days, so every 2 turns. So we're looking at the end of the 3rd week here soon. But we've got the Special Forces phase that's coming up. So we've got our obligatory Houthi raid here into Saudi Arabia. I believe that's the only thing you can use that chit for. So they can only raid Saudi Arabia, I think. I don't feel like opening it up, looking it up right now, but I'm just going to go with that. A couple raids there. I think we're going to try to reduce the detection track. Of course, we've got allies that are going to try to do the same thing. And then all the other allied missions are going to try to either detect SSM sites or try to strike SSM sites. All the other allies are doing that. So I'll go ahead and resolve all that stuff, and then I will get back with you and let you know what the results are. All right, so we have just rolled everything, and the Allies' Special Forces missions were actually quite successful this time. So we were able to destroy that SSM site, strike 2 on that one. The French were able to strike 1. The Americans were able to finish that one off. The Americans detected a dummy, and of course they didn't survive. So these guys, unfortunately. So we know that this one is We know that that guy's a... But he's still got to be unrevealed, even though we know, right? And then these guys weren't... I think they put a detection marker on there, which is good. The Chinese were able to reduce the detection track here. The French were able to reduce the SAMs. The Israelis were able to not do anything. These guys, nothing happened, and they didn't make it back. And then we caused a collateral strike 1, which I rolled the best result that you can get, which is lose an air mobile point, and which is really not that big of a deal for the Allies. We should be good. And we have to reduce 1 aircraft. So what I think I will do is I have tons of... Yeah, it looks like this F-16. This F-16 is probably my worst plane. So I will go ahead and reduce that guy right there. So that is the results of the first Special Operations Forces phase. All right, we've just conducted the strike phase. Let me see here. We'll do missile type stuff first. So the Chinese tried to hit the aircraft carrier. That would be the Abraham Lincoln. 2 cruise missiles, unsuccessful. The Allies targeted this Chinese surface action group. They got a strike 1 on it. And then we tried to use SSMs to hit the Teddy Roosevelt. Both of those were unsuccessful. And then in the airstrikes, actually 2 cruise missiles went to the detection track towards the Iranian detection track. Both of those missed, but we did a successful Wild Weasel, which reduced it down to 5. Then this Iranian Marine headquarters on the island of Lavon was detected earlier in the detection phase, so I sent in some B-2s and some B-52s and was able to get all of a strike 1 on it with all of that ordnance and firepower. So that was kind of disappointing, but whatever. Then we did a naval airstrike against the surface action group and then incurred a further strike 2 on it. So this surface action group is in bad shape, or will be in bad shape. So that's it for the strikes. And then what we have now is movement. So I just need to determine what kind of movement I'm going to do. Most of it's just going to be this stuff on the periphery, moving it down closer to the coast. The big thing is what am I going to do here, right? Like, we need to get this amphibious assault group up. Can't see it because of the glare. We need to get this amphibious assault group that's got all of these Marines in it. There's just a ton of Marines in there, to here. So we need to move them from the Gulf of Oman into the Persian Gulf. So I think that's pretty much going to be the bulk of I think this guy gets rotated 90 degrees too, or not 90, yeah, 90 degrees. I think he gets rotated 90 degrees because of the strike 1 counter. So I think between the 82nd and the 101st, and the Marines, of course, that AMF is only going to be able to move. They're not going to be able to also do an amphibious assault in the same turn. So they're going to have to move from here to here. So I've got to figure out if I want to get the Marines here or here. I think I'm going to do an airborne drop here, I think. So I'll figure all that out, but that's pretty much it. We got some movement and then combat, and that's pretty much it. So I'll be back in a bit. All right, so movement. We had some exciting stuff just happened. It's been a while since I've actually done any ground combat. So this AMP moved in because the Gulf of Oman is, well, it's not a contested. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the mines. That AMP may have, well, anyway, it's not going to affect the AMP. So the AMP moved in. I did forget about the mines. That makes it a contested move, I believe. But so I moved a bunch of Iranian stuff over there. They just jockeyed positions around, nothing. I don't think it's anything really to write home about. The 82nd, which was in Saudi Arabia, they air mobiled to the island of Lavon. They tried. They were detected, of course, by the air defense umbrella, and the mission was aborted. So all those 82nd guys that air mobiled over there, they're flying back home to Saudi Arabia. The 101st, along with the 173rd Airborne, they also air mobiled in. I have a total of 5 air mobile points, but because the 82nd has intrinsic, they do not use air mobile points. So I used a total of 4 air mobile points to do that. They air mobiled to the island of Siri. They had A-10 support. They had an F-35. The A-10s had an F-35 backing them up. Of course, that was detected. This guy was aborted. This guy was able to lend his support. I think it was... Now, I didn't attack with these Marines only because it was like 1 to 6 odds. It would have been horrible odds, right? So I didn't even bother attacking. But they defended at 6 to 1 odds. I rolled a 1. Or actually rolled a 0 on the attack, which is the greatest odds. And it is a attacker takes 1 step loss, and the defender takes 4 step losses and a retreat, and it's in red. So if the attacker is eliminated, I don't have to, or excuse me, if the defender is eliminated when the numbers are in red, if the defender is completely eliminated, I don't have to do any of the losses. So this guy's eliminated, and oops, that's a big stack of stuff right there. Now I'm going to have to undergo clearing operations here, but we have eliminated 2-1 IH what? Let me find out. There's a neat little thing in the back of the book that tells you what all of these abbreviations are for the Iranians, which is neat. So IH is the Imam Hussein. That is the Imam Hussein division, I believe. So the 2nd Brigade, 1st Imam Hussein Brigade Marines has been destroyed. Now, where are my clearing markers? I don't think I actually have any of those out. So now we'll have to undergo clearing operations, which is always fun. I will probably be at a disadvantage because clearing operations usually run a lot better with combined arms. All right, so here is my clearing chits. And without looking, and that one goes right there. So there's a clearing marker there. So we'll get to conduct clearing operations. Of course, these boys from the 82nd are going back to Saudi Arabia. Failed mission, but that's okay. I was kind of hoping to get there with that headquarters reduced because, at the end of the turn, I'll clear strike 1 markers. So that kind of sucks. Those can go there. That can go up there. These guys fly back home. Mission complete. Let me figure out this, because that was, I believe, a contested going through the strait because of the mines. All right, so I rolled that up, and they were able to make it through the strait successfully. Air supremacy helps out a lot. The ASW level and the sub-threat level cancel each other out. The fact that I had a carrier over here helps out tremendously. So we were able to make that transit. So I think the Marines are going to try to do what the 82nd could not do next turn. I know the 82nd is going to... They're going to be very embarrassed that they weren't the first ones onto that island. But hey, that's kind of what happens, right? So I think we have done combat, reaction movement, reaction combat. Yeah, there's nothing left to do other than we'll do some reorg and some clearing. So let me figure out the clearing and then we'll roll that real quick. All right, so I've done, the clearing marker happens to be a 5. With all the modifiers, there's 0 die roll modifier, so I need to roll higher than a 5. The lead unit will be this guy here, so I need to roll higher than a 5. Or, let me see, it might be, maybe it's equal to or greater than. If the roll is equal to or greater than, so we were lucky. So that clearing operation is successful, and that now belongs to the United States. Or belongs to the Allies. Let's see here. Just gotta double check. Conduct clearing operations. Yeah, so I think I get those VPs immediately. Pretty sure I get those VPs immediately. All right, the non-allied side gains 2 VPs per turn for each such non-destroyed installation it controls during the victory determination phase. These VPs are added directly to the non-allied VP total. The allied side gains a variable amount of VPs for controlling these during the victory determination phase. These VPs are added to the allied VPs this turn. All right, so in a strategic surprise scenario, I get +4. So the Iranians would have gained 4. I gain +4 per. So the Iranians will gain 2 points per facility for a total of 4. I gain 4 points per facility, so that's a total of 8. So what we can do is if we look here, VPs this turn, that 4 was from the 4 that I had there was from the SSM sites that I destroyed. Ooh, I destroyed a Marine battalion. Battalion is +1, so that goes to there. And then I get a total of 8 points, which puts me at 13 VPs this turn, which will give me the initiative. So that's awesome. Let's see. So the Iranians have a total of 6 installations now. So that should give them 12 victory points. But remember, that doesn't go to the VPs this turn. So they'll get 12. So what are they sitting at? They're sitting at 131. So they'll go to 143. Let me also roll. I almost always forget to do this. 8. That is for the SSM missiles. It's greater than the current. Is it greater than 0 and less than or equal to the current real naval SSM markers? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a total of 5 real SSM markers, so we don't get an additional missile this turn. So there's that. So everything else is going to be, it's game turn 6. These are the reinforcements. So there's another AMP coming in, that'll be the Truman. The rest of the 101st is coming in, and only 2 Chinese aircraft. So I think that the situation is starting to turn towards the Allies, 100%. So especially with this right here, if I can end up taking over the island of Lavon and those facilities, I could probably just milk out the clock, right? Like with those extra VPs. Or if I just take over those, because that will be 4, 8, 12, 16 VPs per turn. If I can get that one, that would be 16 VPs per turn. And then I can kind of make a determination of whether or not I want to destroy these or not. So the game length is 16 turns. So I'll have to do some victory point calculations, but basically things are looking pretty good for the Allies right now. So that's all I've got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'm sure I screwed some stuff up, so feel free to point that out.